Hey there, welcome back to Not So Basic Things. My name is Patrick, and today I'm going to change the tires on my 4Runner here. But instead of taking it to the shop and letting them do it, where they've got training and equipment and things like that, I'm going to do it myself here in the garage using this manual tire changing apparatus that I bought from Harbor Freight. I've never done this before, and I've never used one of these. We just picked it up yesterday. So let's see how it goes. So this is supposed to be mounted to the concrete, but I don't have any concrete anchors. I could go to the store and go get some, but I do have a 4x4. We'll give it a shot. Want to say hi to the chickens? Aren't they cute? Okay, that is, it's a little wobbly, but I think it'll work. We've got nice leverage out here on the front. Let's see what happens. All right, just a minute to talk about safety when working with a jacking up or lifting a car. I've got this thing in park, and I've got the emergency brake set. It's a rear-wheel drive car, so being in park, that helps. I've got a little bit of a hill here. I don't want this thing trying to move on me while I'm lifting it. I'm gonna find a cross member on this car. It's just behind the oil pan, something very sturdy to lift up on. And when I get it close to the height that I want, I'm gonna go ahead and set some jack stands just for an added layer of protection. I would recommend that you always do this when you're lifting a car. I realize I'm not going to be working underneath it, so some of you might be going, is it really necessary? I think yes. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, vehicle's up in the air, stable with jack stands. Let's get the tires off. Okay, so as you can see, we've got the tire off. We've got it sitting on the tire apparatus. There's a little nub on the bottom of this thing. I've got that lined up so that it's kind of, next to the rim and the tire where they meet. It kind of keeps things in place. And we're getting ready to do this. But first thing, I need to let the air out of the tires. So for those of you that have seen the video that I did on fixing a flat, I talk about using one of these guys and removing the valve stem core. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. But we need to let the air out of the tire, obviously, otherwise this is not going to work. So I've got a little tool here. This one is made by Snap-on. You don't need to get one of these. Actually, the balancing beads that I bought, which is how we're going to balance these tires, I'll talk about that later, actually came with the tool. So there's a lot of ways to do this. So all we got to do is stick the tool down into the valve stem. I'm going to turn it until I get a hold of the core, and then I'm going to unscrew it. Now, at a certain point, it's going to let go, so you want to make sure you hang on to this thing and don't lose the core. There we go. There it is. Boy, that's annoying. Okay, well that finishes up. One of the things that you need to do this job is some tire lube, and I could have sprung and bought some of that. It was a little expensive, but outside of that, I decided not to because as a true DIYer, I decided to go ahead and give some Dawn dishwashing liquid and some water a try. I think this should work fine, but if it doesn't, well, you guys will get to see me struggle. So we'll see what happens. that was pretty easy. Little word of caution, you want to make sure the valve stem core is not where this thing is, because it will break. I think I missed it, but yeah, that could have been bad. That's just too easy, guys. Oh. Gotta take the center caps out. Okay, so I've got this tire up here. I've got it centered on the pin, and there's also a hole in the top of this thing that you put this guy into to keep it from rotating on you. Let me show you what that looks like. So you can see we're centered, pretty centered, and there's that hole I was talking about right there, and that's where this guy goes. So this slides all the way down in there, and that'll keep it from rotating. Okay, now it says place the washer down over the top here. Thread the post cap onto the center post. And they want you to tighten it using this guy. There we go. Let's just see how this goes. I'm going to apply a little bit more of my soapy solution. We want this nice and slippery. Hey, look at that. That was not too bad. By the way, I did break it. But these tires, these rims, came off of a 2014 4Runner, I think, which had a TPMS sensor. This is a 99 4Runner. Does not use a TPMS sensor. So the fact that it broke is really not that big of a deal. Doesn't affect me. So, but again, don't pry next to where the valve stem is. Otherwise, if you do need these actually are kind of expensive. One tire off. Sweet. Okay, now for the mounting instructions. Tires are basically the same from one side to the next. However, fun tip here, only one side, is that true? Yep. Only one side has a date code. This side right here. I would like to have that on the outside so that I can take a look at it from time to time. So we're going to put it on this way. This is a good time to talk about how I'm going to balance these tires. So I could take this into the tire shop when I get all done, and I could have them balance these tires and do all that stuff, but that would defeat the purpose of me doing this myself. So I did some research over the weekend, and I found out about balancing beads. And they have a website, and they've even got an app that you can download that you enter your tire size, and it tells you exactly how much tire beads you need for each tire. So this car, or this situation here, this is a 265/70/17, and the app says I need 6 ounces of tire balancing beads per tire. This is 8 ounces because they don't sell a 6-ounce bag. So I have a scale, and we're going to go ahead and use that to measure 8 ounces of beads. So no big deal. I got a pack here. It came with 4 bags, each with 8 ounces of beads. It came with a little bottle for pouring the beads into so that you can add them through the valve stem hole. Now, if you have a TPMS sensor, that may not work very well, so just bear that in mind. I don't have to do that though because the tire is off, so I'm just going to pour them directly into the tire, so don't need that. Also comes with a handy dandy little hose that will go over top of the valve stem. Don't need that either. It also comes with a valve stem tool, which is nice. I have several of these, so I didn't need that, but this will go in my toolbox. So that's great. That's how we're going to do that. I don't need the factory weights, not factory, I didn't mean to say that. I don't need the weights on these rims. I'm going to go ahead and take those off, so we'll get rid of all the weights on the rims because we're using balancing beads. And there it is. There we go. So, by the way, guys, balancing beads, that is what they look like. They're just itty bitty little things. So not too much to it. 6 ounces. Alright guys, well, as you can see, we got it. But let me tell you, that was miserable. I actually had to have my wife come out and hold on to the stand while I put this tire on, because trying to keep it from moving and get the tire on there didn't work so well. Did finally get it, as you can see, but it was rough. So I've gone to the hardware store and picked up a few things, and I'm going to mount this puppy to the concrete. There just is really no other way to do this. So keep in mind that if you're going to do this, so far I'm thinking that I would do this again. So far, it needs to be mounted to the concrete. Otherwise, don't even bother with it. It is just really, really hard. Let's get some holes drilled, get this thing mounted, and wrap up this project.